Ooh.
Hey everyone, welcome to the DXdao community recap call for June 10th, 2021 at 1500 UTC. My name's Keenan. I'll be taking over the call today in Sky's absence. For the uninformed, the community recap call happens bi-weekly on Thursdays between our new community discussion calls that I also run. This call gives an avenue for our product squads to keep DXdao and the community at large in the loop on our various efforts. And as you know, we have a lot going on, so let's get right into it. Maybe John, taking over in Geronimo's absence, can talk a bit about Omen.
Yes, let me give the update for Omen. So there's been some progress towards the next release, which is upcoming. And now when people claim their, redeem their payout, they also happen to be people who bonded ETH or DAI on Reality to Reality.eth to finalize the market, they'll get that payment back. So that's like been integrated into the payout redemption. There's also an OmniBridge integration, and people are now able to use wrapped Bitcoin or Ether on Omen. There's been a bunch of little bug fixes and improvements. And the other thing that is going on is work is being done on the guild and liquidity rewards feature. A little blocker that has been hit on liquidity mining for Omen token is that the fixed product market maker used in Omen. So this is like an automated market maker, most similar to Balancer, but it uses that same constant product formula that Uniswap and Balancer uses, but it supports multiple tokens. There's a little bit of an issue there. So the fixed product market maker in Omen, very similar to Balancer, but when you actually go to trade on Omen, the AMM is the two outcome tokens, but you come in with a collateral token, right? So maybe you come in with DAI and you want to trade on presidential election, like yes and no, right? So the first step that happens is you deposit your DAI collateral, and it mints equal amounts of the yes and no outcome tokens. This is just always what happens with prediction markets, because there's always an equal amount of yes and no, or whatever the outcome tokens are. There's always an equal amount of all the outcome tokens per collateral, like unit of collateral. And it's at that point that the fee is actually taken on the collateral. So the fixed product market maker in Omen is actually tracking fees separately with that collateral token. And this is fundamentally different than how Balancer or Uniswap work, where the fees are actually taken in the composite tokens in the AMM, which in Omen would be those two outcome tokens, or it could be more depending on how many outcomes. So the important thing is the fees are kept separately in the collateral token, and the accounting. So this introduces some more accounting work, a little bit different than how Balancer or Uniswap works. And the way the market maker is written in Omen, it actually has a callback for every transfer that is done. The fees are actually claimed and paid out for that liquidity provider on transfer. But this is I guess this works in however the math is being done in there, but it sort of breaks composability for Omen liquidity providers and those LP tokens. Because now if you go deposit it on a staking contract, when you go to withdraw from that staking contract, the market maker is sending the fees to the staking contract, which we don't want, right? We want the fees to go to the liquidity provider. So that's the problem we're working on right now. We've been workshopping it this week. Myself and Federico took a look along with Kaden and the rest of the Omen squad. And we have some ideas. I think the simplest thing may be just a special case, the staking contract. But ideally you'd want to kind of fix overall the composability. So we're also looking at how difficult that might be and whether we'd want to do that now. The other option would be to simply not take the fee out of the collateral and to take the fee in the outcome tokens. But we think it's a desirable feature for Omen to be keeping the fees in the collateral token, because that is guaranteed, right? If you have your fees in the pool, you're exposed to the price movement that we know is pretty risky with prediction markets, right? Because in a yes/no market, one of those tokens is going to zero. So if your collateral is in there, if you're a liquidity provider and you have the two outcome tokens in there, if you leave it into the end, it's worth nothing. So obviously there's this game of pulling it out in time to protect yourself. But basically the thought is that having the fees separate is probably a desirable feature for the liquidity provider. Anyways, it's a little technical, a little complicated, but that's the Omen update.
Really interesting, actually, just the fees part of that. I'm just thinking of, I guess, is that AMMs in general, right? And Omen is just like an extreme case of that, because I'm just thinking about, I guess, for the protocol fees for Swapper and I think all the others, like you are taking it in the LP token, which would not be, I guess, like the collateral base. But for that, it's not as big a deal because, you know, you're getting it other ways. And I wonder if like AMMs in general will shift to a model where they're trying to take fees, but not in like the pool tokens themselves. But it sounds like that's a pretty hard problem.
I think it's more specific to prediction markets, because in the prediction markets, you have these two outcome tokens that are backed by a third token, which is collateral. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you look at just a normal Uniswap market, you just have the two tokens in the market, right? So I think unique to prediction markets, you actually have this third token that is involved. Yeah,
that makes sense. Collateral.
Whereas, so I think in general, if you're just coming in with two tokens, then keeping the fees in the pool, which is what Uniswap and Balancer is, it probably just makes more sense. It's definitely more elegant, but I think the liquidity provider is willing to kind of just keep the two tokens that they already have, right? Like to take fees in those tokens. That kind of makes more sense. If you're a market maker on a prediction market, like it's a little less clear if that's what you want, because like I said, like we know it, one of them goes to zero, and so you're really making money off of those fees.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks, John and Chris. Moving right along to Mesa. Martin, are you here?
You're very quiet, Martin. I don't know if it's your.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. I think I show the interface, and although I just connect other computer, and then we will see where we are. Just sorry. Share screen. Yeah, exactly. So we have some progress. It looks like that we are. I guess we will be able to really use the fixed price sale maybe in 1 week, I guess, because we have a lot. We made progress, and maybe I show what the state is. So there you see all the closed sales, and right now, on this place you can't claim, but we are adding this right now. And then you have like the upcoming sales. There's none right now. And then these are all test sales on DXdao. And then if I go to test sale, I have to change to show this. So we added some feature that it detects if you have on the wrong network, then you can change the network to with MetaMask. Yeah, you don't see it now, but then the switch network pop up from MetaMask is coming up. Then you connect your wallet. This is test sale. There are two test sale right now, and then we copied like this interface element who is widely used somehow. It's like a standard now, and I can approve. It's used by SushiSwap and also by Yarnagas, and Convex Finance also has it. So you approve, make a transaction. Then in fact a spinner should show up, but it's not. Yeah, it's already confirmed. it should reload. Yeah, this is the special. Yeah, now I have approved, and then I buy. Yeah, it has to be more than one. I don't know if this works. Yeah, it's money transaction. So what we're adding here, what's missing is like there's like a more visualization how much token there are, but this already exists. We have just to integrate this. So yeah, now the transaction has been mined. At the moment, we don't see it. We don't have a list of purchases, but this exists on other branch who is Hamza working on. And then yeah, they're already. This is a different sale we used. Well, it's also possible there's a token. We made a token page. But this is empty now for my wallet because I didn't claim any token. But the page will then show if you took part in a sale, in any sale, also in the past, it will loop through all the sales and show you where you have some tokens, and then you can withdraw the tokens or claim your tokens back. Yeah. And this is now public. You see it. You can use it on Mesa UI. Post here. It's got Mesa UI.dev, Mesa-UI.dev. It's the URL. Yeah, we added. We have new workers. So Ross is joining us, and he works around 10 hours a week, or a little bit more. And then he's a level 3 worker. And then I also talked to Madusha, who is also around this level, and he maybe can spend almost 20 hours a week, and he's working also in the front end. And then Hamza is still working on the front end. And yeah, that's who we are. And I think we focus next time, we try to focus on the fixed price sale, and then we will add the fair price. But I think the fixed price is quite important to get ready, because it's like if you look at the market, if the market auction are very good, if it's very bullish and a lot of, your sale finds a lot of traction, but they're not a so bullish situation, then if you make an auction, you have the risk that it's not going to. If there's not a lot of demand, then you will not get a good price, and or you have more risk of failing, because the auction we add, it has like a floor price. So if there's not enough people who bid on the auction, you get like a floor price, and then it's the same like a fixed price sale. Yeah, I think that's it. Any questions or ideas? Okay.
Yeah, it looks great, Martin. This is the fixed price sale. Maybe you could talk about there are plans for other types of sales as well, right? Like what are the other sales that have been worked on?
Mainly we try to add an auction, and it's like a fair auction. And the thing is, if you look at the market of if you sell tokens, the thing is, if your token is really fresh on the market, there's no market price. And to establish a market price, an auction is a very good solution, because if there's no market price, normally, then for a fixed price sales, the project themselves has to establish a price, and then it's not that the sentiment on the market, or the information about the project, about this project or the sale, is then not it's not part of the price. And if you make an auction, then you get the market sentiment. You see much more the market sentiment of the against, or not against, of this project, and then you get a better you get a market price, and this is somehow important because of two reasons. One is you get a price who is like fair for every market participant. People bidding on the auction get a fair price, but also the project itself gets a fair price. Because if you make like a fixed price sale and there is much more demand than you think, and you sell out all the token out in a very quick time, then it's just first come, first serve. And what you have at the end, you can't extract the best value out of the sale because the token has been gone. You have a fixed amount of money which you exchange for a fixed price of token. But if there's more demand, you don't get profits. The profit then is mostly extracted by the people who are able to be who were able to buy a token, and then if the price goes up, they sell it on a secondary market and they make the gains of this. They extract the value of your project somehow. And so the next step will be adding this auction mechanism, and it's almost done, but the interface needs some work. And also on the smart contract side, maybe we have to add stuff if we see on the interface that we miss things. Yeah.
So is the main advantage of this platform over the other platforms like PokeStarter the decentralization of it?
This will be in the next step. The idea is that we decentralize the curation of the sale, because now you see, either the IDEO platform itself has to curate the sale. So he has to, I don't know how they do it. They need a process to look at the project if they are not like scam projects, and then they do it, or they allow it on their platform. And at the start, we also have somehow to create the sales. But if you look at there's one project, other projects which people could like self-list their sales, and there you get a lot of noise. So at the end, we need a system, and I also think we need a token at the end that we can govern the sales. So the idea is that token holder have a long-term interest that the platform is like that the platform is like successful. So in their intention, then they can upvote or stake behind the sale, and then this kind of signal can then be used to as a quality insurance for the sales, because that if the tokenomics is well done, then people will only bet or support projects which has a potential, and not like the bad actors. And the thing is that at the end, that is that it's like self-governed, the platform. But this is like, I think the Omen guild, this is somehow is maybe connected, and maybe we will see how Omen is going this direction of having a governance token and govern the platform, and we will try to learn from this, I guess. Yeah.
Cool.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Martin. Any other questions for Mesa? Cool. Let's move on to Swapper then. I'm sure we all taste beta at this point. Maybe Zet wants to give us an update.
Yeah. So we were waiting for a proposal to pass for the token list of Swapper beta, and it just passed actually. So we're actually doing some checks, so everything went fine with the token list. And after that, we're actually releasing the code for Swapper beta, and are ready to get deployed. And I will not say any dates or days, because every time I do that, I kind of make it worse. But
cardinal rule of productivity: never commit to a hard date.
So, but yeah, we are here in the final stages. There's a lot of checks we need to do, and obviously we deploy stuff differently than other crypto projects. It's not hard. It just takes more time when it's a DAO, right? It takes 5, 6, 7 days, depends on the proposal type. But so yeah, we just need to respect how it works, and yeah, so we're in the final stages here. Other than that, maybe Federico, if you wanna, is Federico here? No, nope. Maybe John, do you know about the Arbitrum? I mean, you know as much as I do, but we kind of launched on Arbitrum for the whitelisted users, right?
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't use the word launched at this stage, but Swapper as well as the DXdao base have been deployed. The smart contracts have been deployed onto Arbitrum, and whitelisted users can theoretically interact with those. I don't think it's that meaningful yet, at least as far as I know, because the bridges have not been opened up and activated yet. So at least as far as I know. The last I had heard from the Arbitrum team, they had not enabled the ETH or the token bridges to the mainnet beta. So without that, it's really hard to do anything. Yep. So we're waiting basically for that to happen to kind of continue along with testing and to be prepared for when it opens up to the end users, which I think is at least a couple weeks out, but I could imagine that's something as well. In any case, we want to be ready for day one.
That's super cool. So we basically are on the same stage as a lot of the other dApps out there that pre-announcing Arbitrum. We are at the first batch of dApps that will be available on Arbitrum. Other than that, Swapper tokenomics, we've been doing great work there. Chris, maybe do you have any words on that? Yeah, no problem. Find that tab.
No, there's a. I know that's.
People should vote on the signal proposal.
Well, so actually, we'll get to that in a second. But just like the Swapper token discussion, I think there's a doc in the Swapper channel in Keybase. It's probably like the best, and then yeah, we'll hit on it tomorrow during product strategy too.
That's cool. So do we have a signal proposal for Arbitrum, right? Maybe we can link it here and link it on the general channel on Keybase and on Discord, if it hasn't already been there. Let's see.
Yeah, I'll put it on it's in the DAO Talk forum. Yeah, and maybe I'll just put it on the general right now. I hope this works. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. Again, Alchemy being broken, I can't really promote shit.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I was trying to explain the whole process and that, but yeah. Where is that?
Should we talk a little bit about Alchemy? I can.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure if we want to just go into. Yeah, maybe I guess governance product.
Yeah.
Is next.
Anything else on Swapper? Is that, and then we can circle back to the signal proposal when we talk about governance and Alchemy.
Yeah, it's all for me. Thanks.
Cool. And did you say you want to talk about Alchemy now or in governance?
Well, whenever we talk about governance on this call, is that now? I don't know.
I think product is now, right?
Yeah, we have
product. Yeah,
governance product is up, so I guess that would be Augusto. Augusto, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Yeah, I'm coding and trying to fix DXdao to show Alchemy proposals. Fuck. So I've been working on that since yesterday. And I think I got it. So the idea is to, actually, I got it. I saw the proposal description from IPFS on DXdao from mainnet. which is awesome. And the idea is to make some changes on DXvote application, the application for our governance platform that we plan to use. We plan to start using on XDAI and Arbitrum, since Alchemy, for example, doesn't have support on Arbitrum, and we need a governance platform there. So we created DXvote to use there. And I'm doing some small changes to index all the information that we are seeing from mainnet on Alchemy on DXvote. So the idea will be to use at least DXvote to read and to see all the information that we have on mainnet, on our avatar, on our all DXdao contracts. They are directly from Ethereum, connected with an Ethereum provider. So there is not going to be any subgraph in the middle. So that's it. That is what we are working on, and we are going to be. Well, I'm going to be showing it very soon, maybe even today. And the idea is to deploy DXdao on XDAI and Arbitrum, actually on XDAI next week, and with the same repetition distribution that we have on XDAI. So hopefully we are going to start using that. I added something that is very cool. That is the proposal templates. I talked with Melanie, so we are going to have different templates for Signal, worker payments, worker compensations, contribution proposals, for everything, to make everything easier for the proposal creator, and to have more standardized content in the proposals. So that's it. A lot of work there.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks, Augusto. That marks the end of our product recaps. Moving on to our kind of squad recaps, starting with governance. Maybe Chris, you want to lead that off?
Yeah, I just hear some noise on the street as soon as I'm going in. But yeah, so I guess with Augusto talking about DXvote, he's hinting at some of the issues we've been having with Alchemy the last week. So for those that aren't aware, there's been some problems in content proposal things. So in viewing the content of different proposals, so we're trying to come up with different fixes for that. In yesterday's governance discussion, talked a lot about that. I did come up with a guide that I will share here for how to view the content on any proposal by going straight through Block Scout and looking at the IPFS hash itself. So that should be a way for any voter or someone who's submitting a proposal to be able to make sure and view the contents of it. But yeah, hopefully we're having a quick fix from Alchemy, from DAOstack that may be coming in the next day or so. And then Augusto's talking about the long-term fix and the ability to really create a very resilient platform that doesn't have these dependencies on third-party services that sometimes go down and really put governance at a standstill when that happens. Yeah, I don't know if there's any, John, anything else for Alchemy.
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about, sorry, I was distracted for a second, but we haven't addressed technically the issue, right? I can just describe that.
Yeah, maybe go into.
Yeah, so this is obviously, it's embarrassing, especially for the Omen competition, for us to have governance not being working. Unfortunately, we're not directly in control of the platform because it's DAOstack's platform. This is why Augusto's efforts with DXvote are so important for the future. So the issue that we are facing right now is that the title and the description, even though they are being stored to IPFS, where the data is stored when you create a proposal, it's not displaying on Alchemy when you go to view the proposals today, right? So, and the reason this is happening is there's some kind of a disconnect and problem between the graph, which is what Alchemy is reading off of, and IPFS. So the graph is this caching layer that a lot of most apps and DeFi use, that Alchemy uses to cache blockchain data and keep performance fast when end users are interacting with Alchemy, right? So for some reason, there is an issue where the graph is not picking up on this data that is on IPFS. So it's been a little bit difficult for us to troubleshoot because DAOstack owns Alchemy, and then they're dealing with the graph that is having the problem, right? So we're actually like a couple layers removed from the actual problem and fix. But so, we have been in touch with DXdao and have established a support channel on the Graphs Discord to deal with this and potential other issues that we might have in the future. Right. So we do have the communications channels open. The latest I have heard is one of the co-founders, the technical lead at the Graphs, said yesterday that they had a promising theory and that they were working on a fix. And I checked, I pinged them again this morning because I hadn't heard anything, and heard back from one of the Graph Foundation's biz dev folks that the plan is to roll it out and be update today. So our hope is that the fix from the Graph will be live today, and then the next step would be to re-index some Graph. That's a process that takes about 7 to 8 hours. So our hope is that this will be fixed and working tomorrow. But again, this dependency on this middleware, this third-party technologies, it's not great when it comes to reliability, and that's why it's important that we get DXvote, right? That Augusto's efforts get completed and we start working with that. One of the, besides the fact that it'll be a homegrown from DXdao, there won't be a dependency on things like the Graph, and I think that'll be great for reliability in the future. So yeah, hopefully that explains it. Is there any questions? Like I said, we do have these workarounds. It's not dire in the sense that we can still see the proposals monitoring, still working. We can get to the information. It's just a big pain to take these extra steps. Chris has done a great job with this DAO Talk post on how to do that.
I do think it highlights, in a way, how DXdao is different from a lot of other projects. When a product goes down, there's some kind of problem, and because our entire system governance is on chain, and we kind of operate everything from paying people to signal proposals to all of these things that allow us to operate as an organization, as a collective, depend on us finding consensus on chain in a way. And I think that's the way that I think DXdao should be run. I think other organizations should be run, but it does mean that when things break, it becomes really hard to work around them in some way. So I think the resiliency of being able to act in worst case scenario, right? This is with the internet, maybe not when the internet goes down, but in all the other scenarios, we need to figure out a way that DXdao can continue to operate and function, so that we aren't beholden to anything. And I think the equivalent, or the things we're striving for, is I think Ethereum and Bitcoin level of they don't go down. So I think that's the goal there. And even the everything from what Augusto is doing in terms of building resiliency, and then also even the workarounds we can do in terms of the block scout and Etherscan and looking at the IPFS hash directly. I think all of those are part of building resiliency for DXdao governance, and at least kind of make us stronger, even if it's a little painful.
Yeah. And to tie in what Augusto was saying, he's working on right now, he's coding as we speak. Hopefully this Graph fix comes in, and that will help, fix the problem. But in parallel, Augusto is trying to update the DXvote project, which has its own custom contracts and stuff that goes with it. He's trying to make the changes necessary so that DXvote, the interface, can actually work with the current contracts that we are using on mainnet. So basically, Augusto is trying to save us from the Graph as we speak. So in case that they don't come through, we aren't sitting still here, right? That's what Augusto is doing.
And then kind of just back to more regular governance. So there are a couple proposals that are live on Alchemy. If you go to Alchemy right now, you can't see them. So we did discuss what they are. So on mainnet right now, there, as I said, the signal proposal for expanding to Arbitrum 1 has just been boosted, along with I think a funding proposal for the Omen squad that's been boosted, that was talked about last week. But these proposals weren't boosted and kind of submitted because we were afraid that people couldn't see them or really understand them. but both of those have been boosted. You can check the links in the general, and I think as Ed said, we need to share that in the Discord there. There's also worker proposals for Melanie, Caden, and Tammy going on our next die. And so, yeah. And then the two other things are one had a bit of a buyback update. So the current buyback is DXD buyback has completed 7 orders and acquired 567 DXD. I'll share the spreadsheet here. And there was discussion on potentially raising the slippage tolerance to 5% and also some clarification on specifically how to do the accounting for this. And so hopefully I'll be submitting a signal proposal to update the buyback parameters so that we can maybe increase the slippage tolerance a little bit there. And then the last thing was there was some good discussion on DX events by Dave and Melanie, kind of thinking about how DXdao can exist more in the physical world, whether that's going to ECC in July, which several community members are going for, or looking to like host our own types of DXdao events. And so specifically the proposal actually had some funding ideas on how we can reimburse people to do that. So invite people to check that out.
Cool. Anything else, Chris, on governance side?
Dave is not here, so like the treasury update is not. If there's anything, I think we did do one treasury diversification on Tuesday of this week, and I think we are on mainnet now. There's I think $7.8 million of stablecoins in total there, and I think we are at like 4.6 million of the 5 million that we had in the V2 proposal. So I think we just have one more proposal for the treasury diversification for the version 2.
And nearing on the end of the quarter, I think we're expecting another large treasury report as well at the end of the month. So look forward to that. Perfect. I know Sky, as you know, is missing today. So we have DX Biz and DX Ventures up next. Maybe Nathan, if you have some kind of brief overview of the events of the last week, that would be great. If you're here.
No, I haven't actually prepared for this.
That's okay. Just something easy. I think something's better than nothing, I feel.
Yeah, I guess if we're not prepared. I mean, there are different, DX Ventures, there was Theopolis. I think that's in process, that was finalized. There has been some talk with another project called Boring Crypto, which is trying to do a decentralized Reddit. Some feedback was delivered. I think Tammy and Sky were kind of wrestling with how that fit in to kind of the bigger like DXdao picture. Like, is that something DXdao would use? We don't actually use Reddit right now directly, so we're kind of going back and forth with that project and the DX Ventures. There's been additional discussions on how DX Ventures itself could potentially be expanded. I think Sky has a DAO Talk post, I haven't read it yet, but there's also been some suggestions from 1KX through Christopher Hyman on how DXdao can make all of its projects more independent and attract outside teams by being an appealing place for entrepreneurs to come while still retaining ownership of their project, but benefiting from some of the decentralized infrastructure of DXdao. Basically, what Christopher is describing is DXdao as a decentralized incubator. It's a cool kind of vision for what DXdao might do in the future. I encourage you to read his DAO Talk post. Other than that, there's like continuing biz dev discussions with Agave, XDAI, and we're looking out for other projects as well that may be interested in some of the features coming up. And particularly this conditional token farming is something cool that's being worked on through the Swapper squad, and I think we're going to be hearing more about that in the next couple of weeks. But the biz dev squad is in the loop on that feature and is looking for other projects that may want to incentivize activity in TVL with this conditional token farming feature. So that's what I know. It's probably not a full update, but I think that might give some idea.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for filling in on that. Anything else for DXBiz? Cool. Moving on, marketing communications. I'll give a little brief overview of what we have going on. We're preparing for the approaching Swapper beta launch, Swapper Arbitrum deployment, as well as DXVote. I think me, Chris, and maybe a couple others have a meeting with their team today to sync up on that effort. We've prepared the communications and marketing multi-sig. I made some alterations to the initial proposal that was up last week. So if you took a look at it before, take another look at it now, it's a bit different. Should be a bit more clear on what we're trying to do with it. We released the May month in review last week, which I obviously always recommend giving a read. We also released a guide to the Web3 revolution and intro pieces for the Omen competition. So thank you, Caden, for those.
Of course.
The Omen community competition completed. I think we touched on this a lot already. But after we deal with some of the outstanding problems to get the markets up on Omen, we'll be kind of having an announcement style recap post as well. Chris, it looked like you wanted to say something.
How did you know? I didn't even raise my finger. It's just you could. Well, I just wanted to say, like, obviously the alchemy stuff was really, disappointing with the Omen competition, and especially like as it got to the end, and like even voting was difficult. But I thought that the competition in general was like a great, way to engage the community, and like up until some of the problems with alchemy was like a really cool thing. And obviously that is the type of activity and engagement that the Omen Guild will be doing, with the Omen token. So we're kind of building towards that. But I'd definitely be like support. I don't know if we can run the competition right back at some time, but I think like this is something that was, even if it didn't like turn out exactly how we wanted, I think that we should continue doing these type of competitions, even before maybe Omen token, the guild is like fully operational, but just like building towards that type of activity.
Yeah, agreed. And there's also the Euro kind of plan, marketing plan as well, which kind of would probably fit into that ballpark, which I'm not completely familiar with. I think Sky's running that with the Omen squad. But that kind of fits that ballpark as well. I guess moving on, there was another successful community call. We had focused on some updates from our previous calls, with Swapper Beta and Omen Guild kind of coming up on the horizon here. This DXdao landing page initial draft revision went out. I think I put it in DXer late last week. I think a couple people got a chance to take a look and leave some feedback, and that was great. We also prepared the initial draft for the Swapper landing page, and we're just dealing with the logistics now of how we're going to deal with that, be it the communications and marketing multi-sig or through a regular proposal. I think the only other thing is that we're planning a bi-weekly update for the buyback, which I think, Chris, you might have already mentioned. And that will probably take the form of either a Medium post or tweet thread bi-weekly. Cool. I think that's the big stuff from our end. Any questions? Cool. All right, awesome. I think the last topic on the agenda is the contributor experience squad. But Melanie is traveling, I believe, or maybe a doctor's appointment. She's not here today. So maybe either myself or Chris maybe want to give a kind of broad overview of what's going on our side.
I think just what Melanie said yesterday, like the 0x hackathon was a great kind of recruiting opportunity. And so that was, and I'm sure just because John's speech was so inspiring, but I think we can start to see like some benefits of engaging that community. And so Contribute UX Squad, I think that will continue to help with figuring out how to onboard, and then, working on a compensation, new kind of compensation structure that I think we have a draft for that we're hoping to share sometime soon, and probably maybe talk about next week on the governance discussion. But yeah.
Cool. Yeah, those are kind of the big ticket things we're familiar with. And I guess that kind of wraps up our recaps. Is there any other topics we might not have touched on? I know we're a bit early today. Sky does a lot of talking. All right, cool. Thanks for being here, guys. And we'll see you in 2 weeks for the next recap, or next Thursday, same time, 1500 UTC for the community call.
In Discord.
Except on Discord.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers, everyone. Bye.
Bye.